Hello everybody, and welcome to my alpha world, and I have just exited a strip mining session that turned into a caving session that turned into a dungeon busting session. I found so many dungeons, but I couldn't do anything about them. I couldn't clear them because I got down to 1 heart and I'm completely out of food. I have nothing left. When I usually get in that kind of situation, I mine out of the cave and I mark it with a little pillar here, just in case I want to go back for the treasure or for the loot that I may not have been able to get, because my inventory is pretty full. In any case, I came out of here and I'm completely lost. I have no idea where this is. I'm near a chunk boundary from when I had changed my world seed, created these chunk boundaries everywhere between the old and the new generation, but I don't know which side is the new seed and which side is the old seed. Thankfully, it is going to become day soon. I don't want to die out here now with all this loot that I've gotten. It's taken me hours to get all this coal. I mean, that's some pretty good stuff. And almost 2 stacks of iron. That's something I really want to keep on me. So I'm just going to pick a direction. Gonna try to find where I'm at. Now, this just makes me wish I was paying attention wherever my old bases were, because if I had been, I would have looked at the sun and stuff and be able to find my position like that. Now, if you don't know, Alpha doesn't have coordinates. There's no way for me to find my position. So I really am lost. Like, this isn't ideal. Not only that, but there are no beds. No such thing as a bed in this version. No way to set my spawn point, nothing like that. If I die out here, it's for good. If I die out here, there's almost no guarantee I'll make it back here. Good thing is, found some food. You know, it's not a bad spot. I kind of like these low hills and these flat areas between them. It wouldn't be bad to have a base here. If I were to make a little base here, and I'm considering it just because of how lost I really am, I wouldn't know how to get back there from where I'm at. You know what? I wonder if I recognize that mountain over there. Oh, you know, now that I think about it, maybe there's a good chance I can actually find something I've made if I just follow a chunk boundary. It's very possible that that might be the method that rescues me here. In a way, I don't really mind being lost. That's kind of exciting. You know, that's something that used to happen back in Alpha. Like, let's say your base was far out. Take X's adventures in Minecraft, for example. He built a base far out because he just traveled in his world until he found a spot he liked. But when he died, he didn't know how to get back there. He was completely cut off from that spot because there were no coordinates. Unfortunately, that kind of made him quit his series. But to me, being lost like this is really cool. I mean, it's like, you just don't get lost in modern Minecraft. You know what I mean? Dang, there's a lot of cool stuff here. Look at this little overhang with the mushrooms. Wish I could take them with me. I guess I could give up the dirt. You know, I don't feel like I need to take that with me. But yeah, you can't get lost like this in modern Minecraft. Whether that's a good or a bad thing is up to you. I kind of like that this is a possibility in Alpha. It makes it a little bit more challenging. It also makes it a little bit more fun to explore your world practically. Now, this isn't the mountain that I thought it was, but maybe it's a different mountain? I guess we'll see. Possible I go up here and I see more mountain. Wow. Very mountainous through here. Look at that. Look at that range. That's cool. Went from lowlands to highlands. But yeah, the trouble with the whole chunk boundary thing. If I knew which one I'd already generated, that means it's probably pretty close to my base. I could just kind of like follow it or head that direction. If I go to the newer side of the chunk boundary, it's very possible that it's just then been generated. As in, brand new land, brand new territory. So of course, if I go that direction, I won't be able to find anything. Looking down there, can you see where my cursor is? There's some water in the ice. Yeah, and that only happens in world generation. In the snow world type, all water exposed to the sky will freeze. But in generation, occasionally, water can be formed. So that means this chunk must be new. So whatever side of the chunk boundary this is on must be the new side. I think the chunk boundary is back here. Okay. Ooh, there's some iron. I should go get it. Anyway, I think the chunk with the unfrozen water was past this boundary. And this kind of looks like it could be a corner. If that's the case, and yeah, it's looking like it is, that means that this must be newer. I could be totally wrong, though. It could be that I generated that chunk with exposed water a long time ago and then just immediately left because it's so far away, so it never had a chance to freeze over. I could be going the totally wrong direction, but the fact that it's a corner might mean something. I'm gonna hedge my bets going this direction, even if those mountains are more beautiful to explore. Alright. Hey, look! Civilization. I was right, oh my gosh. Yeah, look at that. That's crazy. Over there I was just deciding if I should go this way or that way. If I had gone the other way, I would have been well and truly lost. Yeah, but even though I was probably only, like, what, 400, 500 blocks away, I couldn't even see this. This over here is a little project I was going to turn into a passive mob farm because it's an island in the middle of the ice. It's so far away from other spawnable positions that I could basically just kind of remove all the grass here and then have a good place to spawn lots of passive mobs. A little dirty, needs a lot of work done. How are we doing on the boat system? Oh, we got nothing. Do we have nothing? Let's check. Okay, we have 2 boats loaded. That's not too bad. Looks like the sun's going down, so we got found just in time. Alright, here we go. You know, I am kind of sad that the whole thrill of, like, being lost and no idea where I am with actual valuables was kind of thrilling. Kind of sad that it's over, but maybe I'll go back to that area someday. You know, it was really nice looking. Alright. Anyway, we made it back in one piece. I do want to go back there sometime because there was all those dungeons, and dungeons, if you don't know, contain moss stone, which is one of the rarest blocks in the game. It can only be found in a dungeon. You can't craft it. You can't find it naturally anywhere else. Not in this version of the game. It would be worth my time to go back there, especially since I've only got 24 at least this base. Got a lot of good stuff in this mining trip though, that's for sure. Almost forgot this stuff I keep in my crafting grid up here. I have a lot of redstone and I pretty much never use any, but pretty soon I am gonna need a lot of it. You'll see why. But yeah, little off-the-cuff adventures like this really make me appreciate the version that I choose to play. I don't know, just something about it. You know, walking around my world, looking at all the scenery, seeing the stuff that I've already built and established here, it really just makes me very excited. Like, I am excited for the future of this world. I want to know how it turns out. I want to know what happens to it. I have a pretty vivid imagination, at least when it comes to this place. Like, when I walk to the center of this world, I'm imagining a vibrant city center, streets lined with colorful trees and stalls and tall, towering skyscrapers, things like that. When I take this rail, I'm imagining a big gothic castle with obsidian vines wrapped around it and green roofs that grow trees. On this road, I imagine a massive industrial artificial island where I can have my passive mob farm. And this direction, I'm not sure. So far, everything I've built in this world has been purposeful, but I do have a lot of ideas for builds that are just for fun. Actually, I have quite a lot of ideas. I kind of want to finish everything that I do already have going on first before I get to those things. But needless to say, I'm pretty excited about how this world's going to turn out. So I went all the way around my world, and this is all the iron that I have left. I'm going to turn it into rails for today's little project here. Alright, I'm going to leave myself 12 iron because that's enough to make 2 more minecarts just in case, but goodness gracious. We did make quite a bit of rails, alright. Oh! I got distracted, oh my goodness. I need a clock or something. I'm always trying to estimate the time of day and like how long it's going to take me to do something by looking at the sky. I've never found clocks to be useful, but when I first played Beta 173, which does have clocks, that's one of the first things I made. In that version of the game, I really wanted to make good use of the time. I wanted to make good use of my day, and then when it became night, I would go mining. So when I was mining at night, I'd want to know as soon as it turned day so I wasn't missing the day. I feel like I could use very similar logic here, but my plans are on such grand of a scale that it just like doesn't matter. The only reason I'm worried about it being nighttime is because it makes it hard for you guys to see, and I want you guys to see what we're doing. Okay, so this is the current bridge to the tree farm, and it's incomplete. Maybe you can see all the way down there that the rail actually ends. It doesn't go the full length of the bridge. The bridge is pretty far, but that's why I made all these. Now, let me tell you something completely different. When I was a kid, I used to be obsessed with trains, and I had a bunch of toy trains that required tracks to play with so they could go around and do whatever set path you had for them. Well, one day there was a toy that came out. It was a train that picked up the track behind it and then placed it in front of itself continuously, so basically it would go forever. Anyway, You might be wondering why I told you guys that. Well, we're about to try something a little unique. Not quite the same, but we're just going to see if this is possible. I'm going to spam rails as fast as I possibly can and see if this will carry me all the way to the end of the bridge. Okay, here we go. Oh, that was terrible. That was terrible. All right, we're going to try that again. Okay, second time's the charm. I know I can do this. I know I can, okay? I guarantee you this is definitely possible. All right, here we go. Oh, man. What? Oh, hey. We kept a little bit of momentum. All right, whatever. Imagine I went into the top of a monolith or something and then did that. I could travel all the way to the other end. I only bring up monoliths because that's the flattest surface I could find in this alpha world. Okay, my objective today is to finish this railway. And in order to finish this railway and have it come over to there, I'm going to build a tower right here where that bridge ends. So the minecart track will go on that tower, lower itself, then come out closer to the ground and go straight that direction, towards the tree farm. That's how I plan on handling that. Though now that I think about it, you know, this land over here is pretty high off the ground. So I guess it wouldn't... Whoa! Oops. Oh no, I fell in here. Well, anyways, I've been working on this area a lot too. I've been trying to figure out the exact purpose of this place. And I had a really crazy idea, and I don't want to share it quite yet, but some more excavation is definitely necessary. But you know what also is necessary? Is a lot of obsidian. And I have a plan to get tons and tons of obsidian using some old alpha quirks, but we're not doing that today. Today we're just going to focus on making transport to this place easier, because if I do that, it's going to make all these subsequent projects a lot easier by extension. Alright, well let me go and cut these trees down so I have a better view of how I want this to come across. Nice. Now I realize that what would be most convenient would be if that were to come into a tower and that took us straight this direction into where this structure would be. That's why this is a little bit tough. I don't know exactly how I want this to turn out. Now that I think about it, it wouldn't be bad if it came all the way this direction and then just did a little turn and then came out right here, or at least in line with this center, so that it attached to this structure in kind of a symmetrical way. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to worry about the details too much. I'm just going to build the tower, I'm going to line it up, and then get started on it. Alright, here, right here, this little piece of dirt. This is our cross-section, a little bit of a compass rose for the layout of the build. And you may notice something. This build is not going to technically be even, because this bridge comes into here too wide, even. And I want it to come out one wide to save on rails and also just to make it smaller and cleaner. I have to do a little conversion inside this tower, but not only that, I have to kind of shrink one side of it by a block. That's just going to have to be how it is. I mean, it's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I want this tower to be kind of gothic looking. Like, I've built with the gothic style a few times. I really enjoy it. I think it's pretty cool. So we're going to go for that for now and see how it turns out. Now I just hope that whatever I'm envisioning in my head looks as good in my imagination as it does in real life. Well, not real life, but you get what I mean. Alright, so the idea is I'm going to have this center stone structure. And let me trace this out with a little bit of dirt. I want some walls coming out like this. Oop, like that. We're going to have corners kind of looking like this. Sort of like this on every corner. We're gonna do this kind of pattern. And maybe you can't tell how that's going to turn out yet. Let me use the actual blocks to kind of show you what I mean here. We're going to have a corner that looks like this, at least for now. I think that base is just far too wide. Because, I mean, this tower doesn't really need to be that tall, and yet I'm setting it up to be huge. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink just this side. It's 5 blocks in the middle. I'm going to make it 3 blocks. I'm going to leave the other side alone completely. That should be all I have to do. And I'm going to leave it like that and then take whatever comes afterwards. Anyway, yeah, I think shrinking these corners was the right move, because now I can kind of believe that this tower is going to fit a lot better than it did before. Though I did make another unfortunate mistake. I accidentally expanded one of these corners out the opposite way, this one, so I need to fix that really quickly. Okay, the next step here, now that we've got our sides shrunk appropriately, is to build these arches. So this part right here, I want to go up into an arch shape. And I want it to be a really gradual arch instead of a nice, neat, small curve at the top. I want it to be like gradual and kind of weird. So, Jesus, look at all those cows. We want to bring that all the way down to like here. Let's keep this in mind. We want to take our minecart from this track down to here. Before I get started on these arches though, I am going to make a cup of tea real quick. Be right back. That is good. I just made some Earl Grey green tea. And I've never found that before. I got it from this grocery store in Michigan's capital. And obviously that's kind of far from me, which is too bad because that stuff is so good and it's good any time of the day. If you're familiar with Earl Grey, it's like a lighter version of that. That's the best I can describe it. It's really tasty. It's a lot more floral. Obviously it is also green tea, so not everybody likes green tea. I don't drink a ton of green tea myself, but this is probably one of my favorites. This grocery store, they just basically had a big barrel of the stuff, which is just my dream come true. And you scoop it out into a bag. I got a ton of it. I've had it for like a year, I think. It's lasted me this long, but I'm actually down to, I think, one more cup after this, and then I'm toast. The great thing about green tea is that you can usually steep it 2 or 3 times. I mean, I usually just stick to 2. Yeah, that's a good height, I think. If I keep my tea leaves out, I'll drink the first cup, and then I can go and re-steep the leaves a second time. And it's not as flavorful, so you do it for a little bit longer. And there you have a second cup of tea. And you can't really do that with black tea, just because of the way that it's processed. But green tea, oolong tea, white tea, pu'er definitely. Pu'er can be re-steeped like 10 times. I don't really know if that works for tea bags, though. Of course, I don't drink a ton of tea bags. I do sometimes. That grocery store I got it from was actually super cool. They just had so much stuff. And it's just very nice in there. They have high quality ingredients. They got everything you could really need. The butcher section was just so cool. They got so many different meats. That's the best kind of grocery store. And obviously, that is very expensive, so I don't really go to that often. They have an extensive cheese and extensive meat section, and that is my favorite. They have all kinds of mushrooms, all kinds of peppers, onions, plants from other parts of the world that normal grocery stores just don't sell. Going to a big fancy grocery store is like a treat to me. Honestly, going to any grocery store is a treat for me. I don't know. And a lot of people think I'm weird for this, but I actually really love going to the grocery store because when I'm there, I kind of just get creative. I look at all the different ingredients and I think about all the different foods that I can cook. Today I went to Trader Joe's and all I got was some vegetables and a little bit of cheese because I want to make huevos rancheros. And it's an altered version that I've been making for a while, but it's super delicious. I got some Roma tomatoes, green peppers. I already had some onions, corn tortillas. I got some really sharp cheddar cheese, which is my favorite. Jalapenos, garlic, the works. Man, Trader Joe's. Yeah, some of you probably don't even know what I'm talking about. Trader Joe's is a grocery store chain here in America. Arguably the best grocery store chain. It's extremely cheap, but the products are super quality. It doesn't quite have the same variety as other grocery stores, but I don't mind. I like to make do with what I can get there because I save so much money just shopping there. This is not an ad or anything. I'm just a happy customer. It's kind of rare that I'm a happy consumer of anything. But yeah, this is not a sponsorship or anything like that. I'm never going to do a sponsorship in this channel, don't worry. But yeah, I just love going there. I love that they have samples, sometimes. I like going to the wine section and getting a sample of whatever they got there. Running low on cobblestone, that's not good. But yeah, love going to the grocery store. Love looking at all those different things and thinking about what can I make next? Getting inspired. Just a weird, really mundane thing that I enjoy. This part's going to get a little personal. I guess there was a point in my life a few years ago when I just found no satisfaction in anything. A lot of that had to do with like life choices that I made. I was a little bit lazy. I wasn't very active. I didn't do a lot. Just kind of lived this lethargic lifestyle. And I realized I don't want to live like that. Like, that's no life to have. It took a while, but I started just kind of making physical changes, started making mental changes. Now I take a lot of happiness out of the little things. Like going to the grocery store is an event to me. I love cooking, I love tea. Getting into tea really helped with that, honestly. Like if I were to say the biggest thing that changed how I look at life for the better, I'd say getting into tea. Because tea requires patience and it requires appreciation for subtle taste, stuff like that. Before that, I used to just work at a Subway and I drank the pop that they offered all the time. And obviously pop's not good for you, right? But I mean, it's easy, it's extremely flavorful, full of sugar. And I made the transition from pop to tea, which is kind of the opposite of that. In a way, I think that kind of represented my transition of lifestyle or the way that I look at life to more relaxed. I used to be stressed all the time. I used to be sad all the time, all that stuff. Recently, I went to the doctor and I had a resting heart rate of 65, which is crazy considering how it used to be. Anyway, God. I wasn't really planning on getting onto that subject. Oh, that was a bad idea. Oh no, my torches. Oh, there it goes. I was not planning on turning the conversation into anything like that, but, oh well. I guess it's my channel, I can talk about what I want, right? So yeah, another reason I recommend getting into tea. I have no idea if anything I ramble about actually sounds good, or if it even makes any sense. I feel like there's been too many times in my life when I'll just, like, talk about something to people, and then I'll replay that conversation in my head, and I realize, like, I don't think I made any sense to them. I feel like I just confused the hell out of them, made them think I was weird. That's another thing I'm trying to practice, being concise, using less words. Less is more, that kind of stuff. Oh, look at that. I guess the creeper must have fallen off the bridge. That's too bad. Well, too bad for him. I don't care. All that tea talk kind of reminds me. A few years ago, I had a little bit of a YouTube series that wasn't about Minecraft. It was live action. And it was called Monsters Tea Time. And I would just basically talk about stuff like I just did to all of you. And I stopped doing that because I felt like it, one, came off as preachy, and two, because I don't feel like I have enough life experience to be giving advice or talking about how I help myself or what I do for myself as if it's a universal truth. Everybody's different. There are a lot of 20-somethings going on YouTube recording themselves in their car or their room and saying, you need to grind now, or you need to do X, Y, and Z. And they might be right. There's a lot of obvious advice out there that I don't think you need a 20-something on YouTube to tell you to do. But a lot of the time you can tell, they're 20, they're just getting into adulthood. They think they're getting things figured out. I was kind of the same way, and I realized that, so I took those videos down. So they're not really watchable anymore, but maybe one day I could have a high quality tea-related show where I just make tea and maybe talk. I don't know. Mr. Rogers style, that'd be fun. Anyway, take a look at that. I really kind of got too far away for you to be able to even see that, didn't I? That's kind of what we're looking at right now. I have to fill these empty little spots with cobblestone, and I think probably make a design right there. I think that would help this look a lot nicer. For now, I think it's going pretty well. This tower is probably going to end up being really short and squat, and that's not a big deal. But right now, I'm kind of totally out of stone. I need to go grab a lot more from the quarry, and I'm sure I even have some at the mining base. While I'm on this railway, let me show you guys something I found the other day when I was just kind of searching through old archives of Minecraft posts and stuff like that. I talked before about how I used to make comics for Minecraft, I just scrawled them in my notebook, and maybe one day I'll show them off. I was looking for NerdCube's old Minecraft comics. I never really finished reading them. I found that this one guy made his own version inspired by NerdCube's comics. He made his own website and everything, so let's take a look at that. That'd be pretty cool. This webpage is called Minecraft, and so is the comic. This is interesting because this was made in 2011 and it's still up. This dude, he made this comic. I guess Steve is spawning in the world, and the pig talks to him and scares him. He has 0 comments. Whatever, right? It's kind of a basic story. I think he finds somebody and then they go along somewhere else. But the whole point is, this dude made this entire website. He started this entire storyline, and this is the very last panel of the entire thing. After that, I don't know, he posts this picture of Steve dancing, and then he makes this comic about a creeper saying he likes trains, which is oddly topical, I guess. And then he made an updated version of his comic where he basically just kind of changed the background. And that was the last one he ever did. That was it. And ever since 2011, there's never been another post of this. This is a really good find as far as web archaeology goes. I feel pretty proud for finding this. It says it was made by this guy named Technological, but that's just, if I search the term technological, I don't think I would really get anything useful. Technological Minecraft comic. Yeah, see, I'm not really getting... Oh, hey, look. Thabor showed up. I know Thabor. Yeah, I know this person. They're a developer for BTA. How about that? But yeah, I'm not seeing anything that looks like it might be... Oh, this is AI. That's terrible. Okay, anyway, we went a little bit off the rails there. Oh, wow. I don't think I actually have to go mining. There's a lot of stuff here. Hold on. Let me just steal all this. When did I cook this stuff? I don't even remember. Yeah, there's plenty of stone here that I don't even have to go mining right now. That's kind of nice. Not bad. Hey, while I'm here, you guys know this boat elevator I made? Right here. Kind of takes me down to this chunk error area. Well, besides that mysterious cabin over there, there's not really a use I have for this area. I used to just mine sand down here, but I actually got all of it. The only sand left is under the ice, and I don't feel like it's really worth digging up. I did find that in that cave over there, there's a skeleton spawner pretty far in. I could make a path from here to there and make a mob grinder. So I actually started to build a tower here a little bit ago. But when I started building it, I realized that it was massive. It was way too big. There was no point in having it there. I was taking up so many resources. So I thought, yeah, I'll build a tower here maybe one day, but it'll need to be very tiny, not like super huge. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, any excuse to use the boat elevator is a good excuse. Tea's still nice and warm. Okay, here we go. So this past week, I posted 2 videos on my channel that were not these long-form videos that I have usually been making on the weekends. One of them was an April Fool's video where I just showcased quirks for the Betacraft proxy. On April Fool's, all the sounds were changed to be like meme sounds or whatever, brain rot sounds, that kind of stuff. That's the summation of that. The other one was a topic I talked about in a previous video about how I used to wish that I lived in a game. I gathered all the clips in that video that I was talking about that, because I talked about it separately a few times, and I compiled them into a single video. It was about 4 minutes long, and I posted that. Initially, I posted it as a short. I wanted to try to see how I felt about doing shorts on this channel. After doing that and having it up for a little bit, I realized I just don't really like making shorts. I've made them before on my other YouTube channels. You know, originally I liked doing it. I thought it was kind of like a fun medium. I liked it for the same reason I kind of like old Minecraft. Like, there's limitations. It was 60 seconds and you can only do it in a vertical format. I thought that was some fun limitation I could work around to make a cool and concise video. At least that's how I felt about it when I was new to it. Later on, I realized that the majority of people watching shorts are little kids, like people who don't really care for what I do. And 2, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of effort that's just not appreciated. Oh no, am I gonna fall off of this thing? I think I'm gonna fall off the very end here. It just feels as if it's not really worth the time and the effort to do. Oh, oh! That's fun. Does that make sense though? I just feel like making them isn't very rewarding, and also I have a little bit of a guilt complex, because I feel like I am just contributing to the wave of brain rot constantly being produced on YouTube. I don't mean to sound pretentious or anything. I feel like this channel is supposed to be the opposite of brain rot, you know, something slow and relaxing and kind of chill. And to make a short seems like it's the antithesis of that. Granted, the first one I made was a 3-minute long short since they expanded the time limit. And I tried to make it slow and like not super flashy. Some of the people who watch this channel were telling me that it probably wasn't a good idea, and I kind of agree with them. So I took it down, and then later I uploaded it as a real video. I like re-edited it into a actual video and uploaded that. People still said they didn't care for that, and that was because it was stuff they already saw. It was just clips from a video I already made. And they really have a point. This channel is to experiment, right? But basically, I have a lot of little angels and devils on my shoulder telling me I need to be doing more to promote the channel. Like, I want more people to see my stuff, of course, but they're saying, like, make shorts, accept sponsorships, you know, do this, do that. And they have good intentions. You know, they want my channel to grow. They want to see me doing well, and I appreciate that. But I don't really want to sacrifice what this channel is about in order to achieve goals like that. Like, I want my videos to do well, and I'm told that uploading stuff like clips, compilation, and making use of your original content is basically free advertising. That's the term I've been hearing a lot. Free advertising for people who might want to watch your stuff. And they might have a point, but at the same time, it kind of feels like it cheapens my main videos, my long videos. I mean, the whole point of this channel is kind of to be chill and relaxed and take it slow. And if I'm out here trying to repurpose content and make quick cuts and stuff like that, you know, that just doesn't seem like it really fits. So I don't think I'm gonna do that kind of thing. If I ever made a short video, again, it would be an entirely new topic, something that I haven't previously shown off of the channel. Maybe a short tutorial, a short explainer, a little showcase here and there. I don't really want to sacrifice the channel's values for more clicks. Does that make sense? I already kind of feel like my thumbnails are a little clickbaity. I don't want to go much further than that. This channel is for experimentation. That's true. But there's certain standards I want to hold to. For example, I never ever want to have a sponsor on this channel. I've had whoa! Oh, being double teamed over here. Oh my goodness. What was I talking about? Anyway, I've had sponsors actually approach me before and say like, hey, if you advertise, you know, my product, you advertise my server or my videos even. I've had other YouTubers offer me money to advertise their videos. And I'm like, well, I didn't find them and enjoy it on my own. And I also probably didn't enjoy it to begin with. I don't like the whole sponsor business model. I feel like it's a little bit predatory. Small YouTubers are just trying to like make it, right? They just want to make it, so they're willing to accept pretty much any deal that they get. Kind of like a young actor getting into Hollywood. You know, it's nice that there are a lot of opportunities out there, but every once in a while you meet Harvey Weinstein. Crypto scams, stuff like honey that steals your money, cheap products that might have been made by slaves, that kind of stuff. Seems like a mixed bag, and also it takes creative control away from my videos. Not only that, but I mean, you gotta admit, if I opened this video with, first, a word from our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends, the best game I ever played, everyone's playing this, like some BS like that, like you would click off. You would not sit here and listen to me lie to you, right? Like, that is just lying. I understand why the people do it, and I'm not hating on them. I mean, live TV thrives off of advertisements. That's the only reason it can exist. The origin of watching video was made possible through sponsorships, was made possible through ads. I don't think that the idea is inherently bad. I just think that a lot of sponsors are kind of predatory on their creators and the audience, and I don't think it would fit here. So I guess this is a little promise that I'm going to make to you guys, and you can hold me to this. I don't care how much they offer me. I am not ever doing a sponsor on this channel. Mahjong Blonsky will never see a sponsorship. Now, I'm not opposed to the idea entirely. If I had another channel that was offered a sponsorship, I might take it if I just made different content. But I would like to choose. I think the only sponsorships I would accept would be like if a tea company, that would be great. Like I would have no qualms about supporting that. I would probably actually enjoy it. I could be honest. A tea company or maybe like food, like meal kits or like cooking supplies, you know, like actual stuff you see at a store. Not crap like Manscaped or games nobody plays like World of Tanks. As far as videos on this channel besides the normal videos that I do, yeah, showcases, tutorials, I wouldn't mind dipping my toes into that pond. Oh, I almost fell. You know what I'd really like to do? If I had more time to do this stuff, and hopefully I do in the future, I've been loving making videos here. But if I had more time, I like to show off mods for old Minecraft. There are tons of mods for old Minecraft out there. My ideal situation, on Fridays I could release this type of video, and then on Wednesdays or something, I could release a similar type of video, but it would be on a modded world. So I would download a mod like Not So Secret Saturday, and I just started a world on that, and I would make videos just like this, and I would be discovering what that mod has to offer, and the audience would be discovering it at the same time. I think that'd be pretty cool. There's so many mods out there I want to try. I mean, BTA, I talked at one point about wanting to do a BTA series. I will make a Better Than Adventure series, just like how I do these alpha worlds. There's Not So Secret Saturday, Better Than Wolves, Better Than Beds. That's a new one I heard of. There's a newer one that was kind of started by a fan of this channel. She said she was inspired basically by my videos, called Alpha Advanced. That mod looks like it's a ton of fun. I've been watching the development of the mod. I've even kind of provided some of my feedback and like even pixel art designs for it, for some of the textures. I like making pixel art in the spirit of old Minecraft. So yeah, I'd like to have an Alpha Advanced world. I'd recommend you guys check it out. It's like tea trees that you can grow and harvest tea leaves to make tea with. I think that Tori, the creator of the mod, brings back the old classic wool colors, not the modern wool colors, but like the classic ones that are like kind of neonish. They're cobblestone bricks that she made that I think perfectly fit with Alpha. That was the thing that originally got my attention. There's just a lot of cool features. I'd love to start a world on that and make videos on that too. My ideal schedule looks like this. On Fridays, I make alpha videos. On Wednesday, I pick a random modded series that I've started and make a video on that, or I start a new one. One day, I hope that I could reach that kind of standard, but for now, I'm just gonna try to stick to making these weekly. Hopefully, one day I'll have more time to make what I want. Am I making sense? I'm curious, what do you guys think? Would you watch something like that? You know, me showing off new mods and discovering how they work and all the new features about them as I go? Would you be interested in seeing something like that? If you would, just like leave a comment. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. The Alpha series won't go away if I were to do that. I would just be doing both. I don't want to make any promises. I mean, that's an ideal. Maybe I would have to be a full-time YouTuber or something to be able to do that, but I don't know. I just think it would be really fun. Anyway, I have been talking way too long. Let's get a look at this thing from far away. Okay, that's what we're looking at right now. I think that turned out really cool, but it doesn't really look gothic, does it? Maybe the roof will make it look more gothic, but so far I think this looks awesome. There's just a lot more construction work needs to be done, so I'm gonna be quiet for a little bit so I can focus on how I want this to turn out. Okay, hold on. I feel like I'm about to get a music disc. Hold on. No, no, no. Don't! Alright, I took a little bit of a break to go get some more cobblestone, and I wonder... Wow. Compasses do exist. I guess a lot of what I said in the beginning of the video is kind of null and void. I had ore at the time. I gotta just use the compass to get back home. Why did I think of that? I guess I thought that Alpha didn't have compasses yet. What I said about how you don't really get lost in modern the same way you do in Alpha isn't completely untrue. I just had some forethought when I first created the world, and I built it right around spawn. But if you never built around spawn, then that compass would be kind of useless to you. You wouldn't really know how to get back to your base if you were lost. Unless you recognize the path from spawn to your base. Still kind of true. I don't know. It was fun while it lasted. How about that? Okay, back from the mining trip. Here is what this tower is looking like so far. Although this bridge is kind of in the way. So I'm going to hop down and we're going to take a look at it. But yeah, we're very nearly close to being finished with it. The outside, not the inside. Oh, I forgot about this. Oh, no. Oh. Okay, here's what the inside looks like. Kind of a mess. I'm missing that corner there, but yeah, I think this is turning out really good. I'm gonna build some lines coming like that, and then I'm gonna have the roof and some spires coming off the top. That's the plan. I'm cutting it kind of close though. I'm running out of time to do this. Wow, it survived. I think I'm taking this as far as I can today. Let's take a look at it. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut this build a little bit short, and it's just because I was so busy all week with everything I had to do for school that I didn't really get to it. But that's what that looks like right now. And you know, that's not bad. I think this looks pretty good. The roof is turning out nice. It is not quite in the Gothic style. It's a little bit more regal, or a little bit more elegant. I think if I wanted this to be full Gothic, I would have to break up a lot of these straight lines, add a lot of points, add a lot of ridges, some more arches, loops, and corners. As for right now though, I think I am gonna call this good. I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. It looks nice and solid, really sturdy. Actually looks really cool. Now that I'm looking at it from here, it looks awesome. Super secure looking. I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm excited to see where this entire place goes. Now, I don't always finish a build in a video. That's just how life goes. I'm not going to hold myself to that standard because then I'm just going to stress out in this world too. And that's the opposite of what I want to do. So if you stick around till next week, hopefully I'll finish that thing. But until then, I've been Monster, and have a good night.